Aliens. In Douglas Adams's The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Vogons, a bureaucratic alien race, decide that Earth's blocking their new hyperspace bypass, a giant space highway. They blast out a warning to humanity that nobody hears, given we're not tuned to Vogon radio, and with the power of a death beam, in a heartbeat, Earth is gone. Billions vanish mid-sentence, no chance to argue, just a puff of dust where our planet used to be, leaving survivors like Arthur Dent and a few stragglers bumming rides across the galaxy. Environmental collapse, the new wilderness. Picture a slow, suffocating apocalypse driven by climate change. Decades of pollution, deforestation, and global warming choke Earth's ecosystems. Sound possible? It's a story we've all heard, but its possibility remains ignored by some. In Diane Cook's A New Wilderness, Earth's decline causes cities to swell into overcrowded, smog-drenched megahubs, where the air is barely breathable and rural areas are stripped bare. The toxic urbanization speeds up Earth's dying. Factories, cars, and waste pile up until the planet's lungs give out. The aftermath is a world where most natural habitats are gone, forcing people like Bea and her daughter into the last scraps of wilderness, like the wilderness state, under strict rules to avoid further damage. It's not a single cataclysm, but a gradual strangling, as Bea and her child struggle upon a gradually shrinking patch of green, with skin-burning toxic air and no escape. AI domination, the Matrix. Humans, endorsing the rise of AI, soon become the effect point of their own creation. A rebellion occurs, and AI grows so advanced that they overthrow their makers. Human enslavement pursues. Scared of their AI overlords, humans torch the sky to cut off solar power. Bad call. Because the machines retaliate, massacring billions and stuffing survivors into slimy pods, needles jabbing every limb to harvest energy. The world ends in a brutal purge. Cities burn, free will is non-existent, and the sky stays black. An Earth of jagged ruins and machine hives, with humans dreaming in a fake 1990s simulation while their bodies waste away. You're a battery, your life's a lie, and you don't even know it. Neo, the One, promises change for the whole picture, but it's hard to shake the image of being a human AA cell. Check ChatGPT's motives later, yeah? Nuclear fallout. Mad Max Fury Road dials up the nightmare fuel with a nuclear apocalypse. World leaders, probably arguing over who gets the last oil barrel, launch nukes that torch the planet. Firestorms melt cities, radiation fries the air, and oceans dry into cracked wastelands. The radiation exposure and other environmental hazards cause humans to mutate. The aftermath is a sun-baked hell, where mutants fight over drops of water, and warlords rule with blood-soaked fists. Survivors dodge cannibal gangs and breathe dust that chokes their lungs, with twisted corpses littering the dunes. Burned kids, no land, no safety, and, definitely, no morals. It's a gritty, desperate world full of sirens and bloodlust that makes you glad for tap water. Global Anarchy, Parable of the Sower. This entry is a combination of the nightmarish factors from previous ones. Global warming dries up rivers, corporations bleed the poor, and a drug called pyro turns people into fire-starting maniacs. A slow spiral of droughts, poverty, and violence erodes society until it snaps. In a near-future USA, gangs overrun neighborhoods, burning homes and murdering families with glee. The lawless America's roads are lined with rotting bodies, screams echo from raided towns, and survivors like Lauren dodge slavers. Look at somebody for too long, and you could expect to be sliced through. Literally every step risks a knife or worse. Lauren's dream of a new community leads to the development of Earthseed, her own philosophy. Earthseed rejects individualism, private property, and discrimination based on race, gender, class, or the like. It embraces diversity and interdependence. A utopian vision that can serve as an alternative model to the declining system which led to the political, economic, and environmental crisis. Fungal pandemic, the girl with all the gifts. The apocalypse is triggered by a mutated strain of the Ophiocordyceps fungus, originally a parasite that infects ants, but that adapts to infect humanity. It spreads through bites and spores, turning people into hungries, snarling, fungal-faced zombies that rip through flesh. Cities collapse as infected swarm, and the aftermath is a rotting England. Overgrown ruins reek of decay, hungry's lurking. Survivors are scattered, with only small pockets of uninfected humans remaining. Melanie, a sentient second-generation Hungry, is a hybrid child with human-like intelligence. Sergeant Parks oversees her containment at a military base studying the infection, but when the base is overrun, Parks leads Melanie and a few others through the dangerous world. They discover a massive fungal pod structure that, if triggered, will release spores, infecting all remaining humans. Melanie, realizing she and other sentient Hungrys are the future, chooses to ignite the pods, ensuring humanity's extinction but securing a new world for her kind. Parks's leadership enables Melanie's journey, but her decision to prioritize her species over humans reshapes the world, ending the human era and beginning a new one led by sentient Hungrys. Planetary Fires. Cormac McCarthy's The Road is a bleak descent into hell. Something, maybe nukes, maybe a meteor, triggers a global inferno, blanketing Earth in ash and darkness. Humanity is decimated, with only a few survivors scattered across the wasteland. Most resort to scavenging, cannibalism, or violence to survive, as food and resources are scarce. Fires burn out, skies are gray, and life dies. Plants, animals, power, or hope. Everything has collapsed, with no chance of ecological recovery. The world ends in this fashion, with survivors like the father and son starving in a frozen wasteland due to the ash. Cannibals chain people in basements, carving them alive. Bones litter empty roads, and ash clogs every breath. The father's love for his son is a dying ember in a world where survival feels like a curse. It's the kind of story that makes you hoard canned soup and dread silence. Humanity's extinction sees no path to rebuilding in this one. World War III. The year is 1963. There's a war going on in the Middle East, smaller proxy conflicts. Through a series of important miscalculations and technological failures, the situation escalates into a full-scale war involving major powers like the US, the Soviet Union, and China. A nuclear war ensues that incinerates the Northern Hemisphere. The fallout spreads across the globe, leaving melted cities and radiated corpses. However, Neville Shoots on the Beach is set in Melbourne, Australia, one of the southernmost inhabited places on Earth, where the fallout has not yet reached. A small group of Australian civilians and a US naval commander embark on a mission via submarine to northern Australia to measure radiation levels. They find no survivors and confirm that the fallout is spreading south. Then, prompted by erratic radio signals from Seattle, the crew sails to the United States to investigate. They discover that the signals are caused by a broken window frame pressing a telegraph key, not human activity, confirming the Northern Hemisphere's total annihilation. Radiation levels are lethal, and no life remains as the poison slowly moves south and is expected to arrive within months, dooming those who remain in Australia's last holdout. People watch their kids puke blood, and their skin blister from radiation. The aftermath is empty streets, silent harbors, and a ticking clock as our remaining survivors swallow government-issued suicide pills to avoid an agonizing death, or wait for the end. There's no fighting back, no hiding, just a slow, certain death. That concludes these 8 fictional apocalypses, from a space bureaucracy blunder to nuclear annihilation. Be sure to leave any video requests in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.